Brodes Media.
This showed you from top to bottom how this organization has been embarrassing. Let's start with Dave Dombrowski. I never want to see Austin Hayes in a Phillies uniform again. He blows. He actually blows. Now, the lineup. I don't want to go down 2-1 in the NLDS with Edmundo Sosa in for Stott. Maybe boom at this point, because this kid has a problem. But for Stott, no. That bobble that happened with bases loaded where you only recorded one out at home, would have been a double play if Stott was in there to field it cleanly. Then the 6 is completely different, and who knows how the later stages finish. Probably would still be ugly, to be fair, because the Phillies offense did exactly what the Phillies offense does. They made guys like Sean Manaea look like Randy Johnson in his prime. Sean Manaea is not that good. He's not that good. Spare me arm slot. Spare me crossfire. Whatever the hell they're talking about for 90 minutes of a damn broadcast. Look where he winds up in the bullpen. Shove it up your ass. I don't care. He is not as good as what the Phillies made him out to be. He was on the brink of getting ran out of that game. And instead, I watched a piss-poor at-bat by Bryce. And Nick lined out with a rocket, which doubled up our base runners. And that's where the game got out of hand. Kyle Schwarber was down 0-2. My man battles back to a full count and eventually walks. Trey walks. That's it. That's it right there. That's the game. And Bryce, with that changeup first pitch, he wanted it. Now, Rob mentioned post-game that that's where you got to pass the baton. I say those are calculated risks. What we can't do is scream about how exciting his clutch moments are and then get angry when he's willing to take a shot at one of those big clutch moments. When he connects on them, we say this is the greatest thing in the world. If he swings out of his shoes and unfortunately messes up or thinks it's a different pitch, whatever it is, you have to live with those results. Where I'm more aggravated, it's the following pitches after the first pitch. That's where maybe we can talk a little bit more. As for Nick, he hit the ball hard as hell. That was more of an unfortunate thing more than anything else. But there's no doubt the game changed the moment the Mets got out of that inning. And then, of course, the whole Aaron Nola situation played out. And the Nola situation, it's a weird one. The stat line screams, holy hell, Nola stinks. He wasn't as crisp as he needed to be. With that said, though, when he allowed just 2 solo shots, one to Pete Alonso, one to Jesse Winker, and you're through 5 innings, if 2 solo shots murder you, and that's what defeats you that badly, then your team is a problem. The 6th happened, Kerkering comes in and very bad spot for him. He gets 2 outs before Marte delivers and gives the Mets some insurance. I thought they were actually going to find a way, but then shame on me because this bullpen doesn't know how. They don't know how. Everybody who comes in gets hit. Now, some of them are put in unfortunate situations, like when Jose Alvarado's in the game. But think about this. We're 3 games into this series, right? We're 3 games into the playoffs. I've seen Tanner Banks and Jose Alvarado, who essentially got kicked into a no man's land territory here in your pen, and they are pitching. That means you're getting your ass kicked, or you're kicking ass. But I hate to break it to you, it hasn't happened that way. It's unacceptable. You were getting your teeth kicked in by the Mets. But once again, isn't this Phillies baseball? Isn't this who they are? They are the team that goes through 9 innings with 2 hits, with 3 hits, and shows 0 signs of life. And then they also can have all the responses needed throughout a 9-inning game. Or they can hit 4 home runs. A lot of guys, though, are struggling. JT doesn't have a hit. He doesn't have a hit. Kyle Schwarber outside of the leadoff bomb to set the tone. What has Kyle Schwarber really done? So there's a lot of big, important pieces to your roster that aren't making enough noise. Hitless through 3 games in the NLDS. Best catcher in baseball, right? Can't happen. So once again, it goes from the Dave Dombrowski awful way of approaching the deadline, just getting marginal players that, I don't even know how to describe them. And by the way, Estevez, he allowed a run. Everybody allows runs out of the pen. Everybody. You're never going to win that way. Not this time of the year. Grow some balls, grow some hair on them, and go. Do something with it. Your number's called. Figure it the hell out. Do I have faith? It's an interesting question. Do I have faith? Here's the thing. Knowing how wildly inconsistent they are, of course they're going to win game 4. I'm rolling my eyes, by the way. So do I really feel it? It's hard to. I don't think you have the pitching for it. I'd send Zach Wheeler out there if he feels comfortable pitching on such short rest. But there's no game 5 in Philadelphia if you don't win tomorrow night. So I don't know what you do when you're back home. Well, I do. It would be some combination of Ranger plus. But if Zach Wheeler's up to the challenge and feels good body-wise, I'm not putting him in harm's way, but I have to really consider it. Don't think it happens. Dave failed you. Rob has failed you. Kevin Long / the offense in totality has failed you. Guys like Bohm failed you. I said it before, I'll say it again. This Alec Bohm, whatever version this is, he was the one who knocked in runs for you for the regular season. He batted cleanup. He scorched doubles left and right. Now, he's hurting you. His presence hurts you. And that's as bad as it gets. People struggle in baseball, right? JT doesn't have a hit. Kyle hasn't done enough. But they don't give off that terrible smell of vomit. Alec Bohm's presence is equivalent to Nick Sirianni. Let that sink in. And I don't know if it's fixable. I don't think any sort of at-bat can change that. Whatever happened is systemic. I think Nick might be the perfect way to compare the two. Because you can't fix Nick Sirianni and the way that he talks to his team, and whatever you want to think can happen with the Eagles won't happen because of Nick Sirianni. Well, we might be looking at the same thing with Alec Bohm. So anyway, I don't know if I necessarily finished my overall thoughts on Aaron Nola. He wasn't good enough. He wasn't good enough. But he's nowhere as bad as the haters will say he was. He had to grind. I thought he actually got Pete Alonso in the sixth on the outside part of the plate, but once he got walked, and I thought he actually made adjustments to Pete Alonso, or at least started to execute a little bit better. I'd have to go back and watch the everything that panned out during the home run that Pete Alonso hit and went opposite field with, but I do believe he found a way to essentially freeze Pete Alonso. He wasn't looking for what Aaron Nola was throwing, or at least wasn't looking to pull the trigger on those pitches that he was throwing. He kind of neutralized him there for a little bit. I thought he rung him up in the sixth. Close call. Aaron Nola wasn't good enough, but he wasn't nearly as bad as what the numbers indicate. So disappointing. I'm angry. Don't get me wrong. I really, really am angry. But I'm upset. They've upset me. This team, this group. When the playoffs come around, you got to be ready. You got to be more disciplined. You got to know and understand how to get it done this time of the year. And you did. You did for 2 straight years. And now when you are expected to be the team, to be the division rival, they're going to let them beat you up this badly? I mean, it's not close. This isn't close. Right? You got hit hard. And here's the one area that gives me a smidge of faith. It's always difficult to put away teams. It's getting that 4th win in a 7-game series. Or in this case, it's getting that 3rd win in a 5-game series. It's a lot of vets in this clubhouse. You could talk about urgency all you want, but until there actually is no other option, maybe that urgency doesn't show up the way you need it to. It's sort of like fight or flight, that mentality. When your instincts kick in, yo, if you don't excel here, it's all finished. Maybe that pressure is what kicks in a level that they haven't been able to kick into yet. Once again, I'm desperate as hell. This is me really reaching to see if we get the great version of the Phillies. That's why my heart is broken on a day-to-day basis, because I don't know the constant. I don't know the constant. When they take the mound and when they take the field on a day-to-day basis, I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know if I don't know the constant is the right way to describe it, but they're inconsistent as hell. There's no consistency. So we just have to pray that it's the good Phillies that show up.